All right, so here to assume the minimum payment on a credit card is the greater of $20 or 2% of the unpaid balance. So what we're supposed to do is find the minimum payment on an unpaid balance of $936.24. All right, well, what we have to do is we basically just take our 936.24 times the zero point zero 0.02, and then that gives us a value, and then we compare that to the $20 and see which one's bigger. So we take 936.24 times 0.02, and we get 1872 there. And so that's going to be 18.72. Now, is that one bigger, or is the oops, $20 bigger? Well, $20 is bigger, so in this case, the minimum is going to be $20. Okay. So that would be how you do something like that. And sometimes they'll give you different percents, 0.02 or whatever that credit card is the charging for. All right, so let's do this one. So here, to complete the sale of a house, the seller accepts a 180-day note for $10,000 at 7% simple interest. Both the interest and principal are repaid at the end of 180 days. Wishing to use the money sooner for the purchase of another house, the seller sells the note to a third party for $10,124 after 60 days. What annual interest rate will the third party receive for the investment? All right, so let's write down everything we know. So let's start over here. So T is equal to what? Well, that's 180 days. P is going to be 10,000. What is our rate? So our rate at the first one is 7% simple interest, so that's 0.07. Okay. And then it says after 60 days, you're going to do something to it. So, well, how long is 60 days? Well, 60 days is equal to basically, if we convert that to everything, it's going to be out of the 180 days. How many days are left? Well, it's a 60 from that, it's going to be 120. And so that's going to give us 120 out of 180 days left because we waited after 60 days. There's 180, so there's 120 out of the 180 left. And it's going to sell it for how much? It's going to sell it for, if we can write, there we go, $10,124. Okay. So the key here is after 60 days, there's that many days left. Okay. All right. So let's think about this. If we had gone the full day or the full 180 days, A would be what? Well, A is going to be our 10,000 times 1 plus 0.07. And now we have to convert 180 days to years, so that's 180 over. Now we're going to use 360 because that's what we use in these problems using the banker years. And so that gives us what? Well, let's go to screen share, convert to our calculator. So that's going to be 10,000 times 1 plus 0.07 times, and we have 180 divided by 360, and that gives us $10,350. All right, so let's go back over here, and so that gives us $10,350. Now, that is going to be kind of now thinking about this, that will be our future value. And we're selling it for this much. And so that's going to be kind of now what our P is. And so if we plug all that in, let's look at that here. So now we'll have our future value is going to be uh, 10,350 equals 10,124 times 1 plus, now we have R, we don't know, that's what we're looking for, times T. Now again, this is how much time is left. 120 over 180 days. Okay. And so now we can take and divide by this, subtract our 1, divide by the 120 over that, or we can just plug that into our calculator into the numeric solver, which I think is what I'm going to do. So we'll do math, numeric solver. And so this is going to be 10,350 50. This is going to be the 10. 1. Now add that. 24. Delete that. And now we have x, which is our r in this case, and we have 120 divided by 180, parenthesis, and I think that's everything. Oops, that doesn't look right up there. Does it? 10,350, not, no 2 on the end though. Don't know where that came from. All right, 10,350, 10,124. All right, let's try that. And it looks like 10,350, 10,124. Oh, wait a minute here. That's why I have something here. So there's 120 days out of 180 days, but the key is we need to convert that into years. And so it's really going to be 120 days out of 360 total days. So we have to think about that. So when I did that, I should probably go back over here. That's 120 days left for that point in time. So there's really 120 days total, but this is 120 days over here out of 360. So we have to really pay attention to what we're doing here, which I didn't do. So there's 120 out of 180 days left for the period here, but we're converting the 120 into years here. And so that's what we have to do is over that. And so now let's look at that. So 0.06696. So that's going to be what? 6.697%. So that would work, I think. So that's going to give us our rate is equal to 6.697% because they wanted it in 3 decimal places, I believe is what they were saying. All right, so that was the key. So we had 120 days left out of the whole thing, out of the 180, but we have to convert that 120 days into years, and that's what I didn't do there. So I messed up there, and I was typing it and it looked wrong, but I was like, okay, that's why. So that's what we need to do is convert that. All right, so hopefully that helps on that one. Now let's stop there and we'll come back for more.